Okay guys, so before we get into this video, I would like you to help me with something. I'm trying to edit this video and I'm realizing that it's just too damn long. Even without the bites that I had throughout the day, after I edited it just down to the fish catches and the at least somewhat relevant commentary that I wanted to share with you, we're looking at like 28 minutes. By the time I add this clip in, it's going to be like 30 minutes. What I'm hoping you can help me with is some feedback in the comment section. Is 30 minutes just too damn long for a YouTube video? Should I have edited this into 2 separate YouTube videos? One for bass, one for pike, spoiler alert. Should I not drink whiskey before filming? Should I have cut out all the commentary and left just the fish catches? Just the big fish catches? Or do you prefer to see the whole story, which is what you're about to see? Please let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy.
All right, well, just getting out to Cottonmill. See, there is no one else in the parking lot here. There's a family bank fishing over there, probably for catfish or bluegill or whatever. It is, I think, actually about to rain, so I got my raincoat on. Hopefully it doesn't come down too hard. But it is not great weather for being outdoors in general, which is why there's no one else out here. It's gonna be a little bit windy, not like outrageously windy, but it's gonna be a little windy. Which hopefully, I think honestly, between the cloud and the winds, hopefully the fish will be active and moving around. I think general conventional bass knowledge would tell you that that this would generally mean that the fish are going to be on the move, so they're not going to be holding tight to cover, which can be good and bad, because if you're wanting to catch them around cover, you can find them if they are there. So on days like today is when you get out like the spinner bait and the crankbaits and things like that. So hopefully I can get into them on some moving baits like that today. So wish me luck, guys. I'm gonna get going. All right, first fish of the day to stay hooked up on for more than 1/8 of a second on the jig. He's pulling pretty good. Doesn't look super big, but he is dogging me pretty hard. That's nice fish. I'm gonna say that's probably a 2.2 pounder, maybe 2 1/4. Well, I'm gonna call it 2.17. Ooh, 2.3. See you, buddy. That was on the jig. Guys, I even tell myself I'm gonna throw something other than the jig, and then I see these laydowns with these trees going like way down out deep in the water. And how am I gonna just not drag a jig over the end of that tree down in the water? I mean, you see why I do it. It's just so damn effective. Got one on the crank. Let's see what I got. It almost kind of feels like a walleye. Feel it move every now and then, but it's mostly just a log. It's actually a pike. Not a bad pike, actually. Do not have him hooked very well. And there's a hook in him. Oh. Man, this guy is just freaking doing nothing at all and then giving me some good pulls. Alright, let's see if we can get him over here. Not putting this fish in my net. Okay. There's a pike. Oh, wow, man. He's angry now. Yeesh. Honestly, this might be the same freaking pike I caught a couple weeks ago. I'd call it probably 23 and a half. Honestly, it might be. It's like the exact same size. All right, we're gonna let him go. Slip and slide. And he's off. All right. So, I guess we'll cast this around a little bit more. Oh, I think I got one here. Yep. Pulling pretty good. Man, I don't know what I got. I'm very interested to see though. It's fighting me kind of weird. It is a decent sized bass. Got one hook in the mouth, one in the side. That's why it felt weird. Man, that's a good fish though. I'm gonna say this is a 2.78. All right, what did I say? What did I say? 2.78 within 7/100ths of a pound. I'd say that's pretty good estimation there. 17 3/4. Nope. 17 1/4. Okay. Good fish. See you, buddy. So it is a little bit deeper where I am right now, about 16 feet. So I might switch to a little bit deeper diving crank. Or maybe I will tie on like a lipless, and I can just kind of jig it up off the bottom. Fish on. Another one on the crank. Dude, this is a lot different than how a lot of people bass fish, honestly. So many people just grab a Texas rig or a jig and go up and down the bank, and frankly, that's a huge part of what I do a vast majority of the time. But every now and then it's fun to just come out deep and throw deep diving cranks. And like I suspected, and I'm glad I was right, today was the perfect day for that. You know, got a decent amount of wind, not like super windy thankfully, but decent amount of wind and cloud cover, which kind of spreads the fish out. I mean, they're active, but they're spread out, so they're not going to be up shallow on the bank, or not as many of them are going to be. All right, another nice bass. Again, not like you know, not winning any length. Oh, not winning any length competitions with these fish, but again, just a very fat, sturdy fish. This one's probably 2.3 pounds or so. Just nice fish. Somebody's ice fishing rod. That is funny. That is awesome. Wow. I'm glad I didn't just cut that line. Alright, see if I can keep this one pinned on the drop shot rig. Been just dragging this over. Oh, nice fish. Been just dragging this over a place where I marked some fish down below. Finally got some action. That looked like an okay fish. We'll have to wait till we get another look at him. Thinking 3.5 pounds based off of that first glance. Maybe not quite 3, but I'm pretty good. Don't throw it, don't throw it. All right. Man, that hook was not in there very good. That's me just having my drag too. Alright guys, GoPro battery died right after I caught that one. That is much better than my GoPro battery dying right before I caught it. So, happy about that. I'm gonna pop this little mosquito hook out of here. It's actually in there fairly good. Alright, so that's not nearly as big of a fish as I thought originally. I'm gonna revise my estimate to maybe 2.2 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. But I'm pretty happy with it. Again, I think I just had my drag way too loose, so I tightened that up a little bit for the next fish. He did throw my plastic, so I'll need to put a new plastic on that rig. but I may actually swap back to a crankbait anyway. Oh, got a fish on here. Yes! On the drop shot rig with the fluke this time. See if we can get this one landed. Another just nice fish. Not a trophy or anything, but I about guarantee this is going to be another 2.5, somewhere in that range. Wow. Barely had the hook in there. 2.1, I'm gonna probably say on that one. Here we go. Got one on the jerkbait. Oh, decent one. Let's see if we can keep them pinned here. You just never know on these triple hook baits. Man, I had a bit of a dry spell there. I was doing really good for a while. And then just kind of shut off on me for about 90 minutes. Another pike here. A tiny bit smaller than the last one. Still not bad. Okay, let's see if I can get... Good Lord, these things are freaking crazy. Anyway, we'll let them go. And he's off. That was a fun fight. And my line is all messed up already, so actually just when my battery died here a few minutes ago and I tied a brand new leader on, probably so what I do, I guess, by the way, guys, I'm not sure I've ever really talked about this, but what I do is I use braid for my main line. Most of my rods, this one for example, I've got 30-pound test braid on, and what I do is I tie leaders on for basically the last 10 to 20 feet. It kind of varies a little bit, but I'll usually tie on probably 15 feet or so worth of leader, and then just as you break off lures and tie on new lures throughout the day and weeks and whatever, that leader gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and then I replace it, and it's been a pretty good system for me. For one thing, I just like having braid as my main line with the sensitivity that gives you and whatnot. It's just good. Also, using that methodology allows me to basically never change my main line. I mean, I'm just always using up 15 feet worth of leader and tying on 15 more feet worth of leader, whereas if I were to just tie on 200 yards worth of fluorocarbon or whatever, A, that's really expensive, but B, just throughout the year as you break off lures and cut lures and tie on new lures, your line just gets shorter and shorter and shorter throughout the year, which sounds like a pretty crappy proposition to me. So this is the route that I've gone with, and it's worked really well for me. I believe it's called a blood knot, that I learned on Tactical Bass, and a lot of guys use, I think, an FG knot is another popular one. But I like the blood knot. It's worked pretty well for me this last couple of years, so that's what I do. Another fish. Let's see what it is. It's 2 within about 5 minutes. Maybe a handful of casts on the jerkbait. Last one was a pike. This one's a bass. This is actually probably the smallest bass of the day. I'm gonna say maybe 1.2 pounds, something like that. But we won't turn him away. Thanks for biting, little guy. Honestly, a vast majority of my fish have been caught within probably 30 yards of each other. I've just been kind of drifting around and pedaling around a pretty small area of it's really just kind of right out in the middle kind of a thing. There's not really much structure to speak of. I think there's maybe one tree kind of down somewhere in the vicinity, but really there's not much structure to speak of. We're just kind of out in 12 to 15, 16 feet of water. I was catching a lot of them earlier on deep diving crankbait. I think it was a 5XD. And then kind of went dry on that. I actually went to a slightly different part of the lake and mixed it up a little bit through some different lures in some different areas, and didn't have any luck doing that. Did get another nibble on the frog without actually engulfing it to where I could set the hook on it, but not really any action to speak of. And now I'm back in the same spot. Threw the deep diving crankbait again for a little while and decided to switch to the jerkbait because I'm still seeing fish in these spots, and they seem to be just kind of hovering maybe 10 feet deep or so, and maybe a little bit deeper, but they're certainly within striking distance of a deep diving jerkbait, which this is. These theoretically go about 10 feet deep. So I'm just kind of giving it the old twitch pause. So twitch, pause, couple seconds, twitch, pause, twitch, pause, and every now and then when you go to twitch on it, there will just be a fish on there. I've never used one. Let me get this up to where we can kind of see it. So what it looks like in the water, just kind of jerk, so it's got this real erratic kind of darting around action, and then you just kind of let it sit there. And so the theory is that the fish will be attracted by the erratic action, and then even if the fish aren't active enough to just chase it down like they would a more traditional crankbait, they will come check it out, and then while it's on the pause, they'll just kind of swim up close to it, and then when you twitch it again, they'll eat it. Is kind of the theory behind that. It's historically been one of my most successful lures, although I really have not done very well on it this year, except for right now. Oh, good fish on the jerkbait. And that one freaking stopped me dead when it hit it. Seems to be staying low. Maybe it's a pike. Oh, it's coming up now. Oh, it is a pike though, I think. Another decent fish. Man, he's getting me some good jerks. Good looking fish. Oh. Alright. Let's see what we need to do with this guy to get him off the hooks. Alright. I got him now. This one says, I think we're looking at about a 4-pound fish. That's not a bad little pikey. Not much longer, but a lot thicker. This guy is probably 25 or so. 25 inches. 3.8-ish. .81, we'll call it. All right. We'll let him go. Got one. Catching fish is hard. All right, well guys, I might call it on that one. I think so. The boat ramp here is just on the other side of that jetty. I think what I'm gonna do is ooh, that was close. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the wind kind of blow me back towards the boat ramp, and I'll keep casting this. I may or may not catch another fish on my way back to the boat ramp. So if this is the last one, so be it. I've had a pretty good day out here. Good Lord. Can I get this freaking hook out? There we go. All right, well, if this is my last fish of the day, thank you for coming along, guys. It's been fun. Hope you enjoyed watching this. Have a good one.